I wonder
Trying to
what the legacy of Steve Jobs would be.
Mm.
I do wonder what Steve Jobs' legacy would be if he was alive right now. I mean, when someone dies before this stuff gets out, there's a whole population that, you know, what the guy did in his life was good, or they just cut off, you know, what they knew about him from the moment he dies. Before that, you know, everything from that moment on, that moment and before is what people remember. You know, his legacy is going to be substantially different from what it would be if he was still alive today. I really do think that, and I think it's a disservice to the tech industry if we want to simply look at it in terms of, you know, how wonderful he was for tech, because, you know, people connect tech with, you know, progressiveness.
Well, that's part of the challenge of the
and,
tech
you know,
industry,
yes.
right? Is like not just thinking about tech.
Yes.
I agree with you.
It's unfortunate that that people will not remember this when they hear the word. They will not connect this when they hear the name Steve Jobs.
I wonder, because I think the only reason I think you may not be 100% right about that is just because, you know, if you read all the gossipy stuff about Steve Jobs that we've all sort of said, like, I mean, you know, it's clear. You read anything about Steve Jobs, including from people who really admire and love the guy, you know, he was a terror to work for and with. He was an incredibly unpleasant person, mostly, it seems like. And obviously brilliant and talented and everything else, but just not a nice guy. And I think when you can go from being like, okay, but in some respects the results speak for themselves. He created all these products. People are blah, 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 blah. But this is the same mentality, just connected to being a wage, you know, a wage theft.
Yeah, but, you know,
But it might have an effect. But I hear you.
But a lot of people, I mean, all spanning different political ideologies and how people believe, you know, business should be run. You know, when you hear, oh, Steve Jobs was he was so mean and terrible, like he treated his workers poorly, you know, but you know, they were still well paid, they got the job done, look at all the stuff they created.
Right.
He was just being a shrill businessman.
Right.
I mean, that's what some people, depending on their ideologies and
doubt.
their beliefs, that's how they feel. But this is something that, regardless of whether you're, you know, on the left wing side of things or the right wing side of things, libertarian, conservative, liberal, progressive, whatever, this is something that should bother you. It completely goes against workers' rights. It goes against the free market principles. I mean, it's
no, it should be a major exposure of the myths about not only Steve Jobs but Silicon Valley as a whole. And that's why it's such an important story. I agree with you 100%.